All right, so if we solve in the denominator and we go ahead and factor it out and make it equal to 2 and -2, we know that there are vertical asymptotes. So our graph looked like this. If I had to draw this by hand, I would know that there would be a vertical asymptote at -2 and +2. Push on. Okay, and then your graph looked something like this. It looked like a little upside down parabola here, and then it looked like 2 logarithmic ones over here. Did y'all see that? Yeah. So for this green one that I've highlighted, if you had to name the domain of the green, what would you say?
All real numbers except x cannot be -2 or 2.
Good. X cannot be -2 or +2. Very good. So let's go ahead and put in this. You probably already know what this graph f of x is equal to the square root of x looks like. You probably do because we did parent functions. If you forgot, that is okay. So go ahead and take a minute. You could look at that in your calculator, or you could just draw it because you know it. Y'all remember what this looks like? No? We kind of called it a little doggy tail like this, right? What can x not be here? There's something x cannot be. What can it be? Negative numbers. X can be every positive number. Can x be 0? Yes. So what is the domain here? The domain is
all real positive.
All real numbers. X cannot be negative. Okay, and now we started a little bit talking about it. Remember we talked about how you can show it included as 0 like this? And we could go to infinity. Okay, infinity will always be in a parenthesis. In this case, x can be 0. If x could not, you would show that with a parenthesis. So you can show it where x is 0 all the way to infinity. Okay, actually I think for the first one that we did in green, I think that one's easier to show written out all real numbers except x cannot equal 2 or -2. All right, let's move on to see what we're doing. Now we're going to look at the domain and the range. The domain is? The range is? Y'all are asleep for a Monday. Let's go ahead and put this in our graphing utility. It tells us use the graphing utility to find the domain and the range of the function. So now we're going to put this whole thing in our graphing calculator. Hopefully you can find the square root button. All right, so what did you guys see? Like a little half circle, semicircle, right? And it went through 1 or 4, right? It didn't, mine didn't really look included. Did yours?
No.
I don't really know if it is. I'm going to go check the book real quick. Let me check the book real quick. Okay, it is included because of the semicircle and the way they have to do it on the calculator. If we put it in as a circle, it would look included. What is the domain here? What do you think? The domain is from what to what? Okay, but we're going to go in order, right? So we're going to go, the domain, oops, I just said it was included, so let's erase that. The domain is from -4 to +4. Cool? Okay, you can also show that as -4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to +4. Let's talk range. What is the range? 0 to... Oh, I didn't graph that one right, did I? Count that on your calculator. I did not graph that one right because mine should not be there. It should be here. It does go up to 4 because it's a perfect circle, so my circle isn't drawn very well. All right, so it's from 0 included all the way to 4. Is 4 included? Good, and I could show that as 0 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 4. So either one works. I don't care if you show it with brackets or like this. I prefer the brackets because I want to start preparing you for college because that's the way you'll be doing it in calculus and in college. Cool? Moving on. Quotients. What's a quotient? It's an answer to a division problem. This is your first taste of calculus right here in PreCalc. Write it down. Star it, circle, highlight it. It says for f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 9, find this big mess. And they tell us that h cannot equal 0 because what cannot be in the denominator? 0. And we just talked about that, so we know that. So we are going to talk about these long functions. I'm going to set it up above. So what is the rule of thumb? Instead of putting in X, what am I putting in? Let's go ahead. I'm going to separate it by colors. I'm going to do the green part first. Y'all see that little green part? Instead of putting in X for the green part, what am I doing? I'm putting in 4 plus H. So notice I just wrote the wrong thing. I have 4 plus H quantity squared minus 2 times 4 plus H plus 9. That is the green part only. But I also need, I'll go ahead and make this part red. Trying to highlight, here we go. So notice I am subtracting all of, instead of putting in X, what am I putting in? 4. Open parenthesis. 4 squared minus 2 times 4 plus 9. And all of this is going to be over H. Well, that's confusing. But notice that we still have H's. So let's see if this works out to our favor. This last year. It's a lot. Okay, do you guys understand how you have to take that first one right here and plug it in? You have to take the green and plug it in, the red and plug it in. Not so shabby? All right, let's go ahead and look at some of these questions. Let's try number 1.